Yo, what's up, guys? Ooh, I forgot to remember not to yell because I have a mic on now. Because I realize things are a lot louder. Let me get this thing out of the way here. Okay, cool. So today, really quickly, I want to go over with you the 7 call. Now, just let me know, drop a 1 if you can hear me really well in the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or in the Facebook group. It also lets me know if I need to talk a little bit louder or a little bit quieter because, you know, we're using like audio equipment nowadays. Anyway, the sales call, there's a lot that happens within the sales call, and you guys have seen me do a lot of videos that talk about the psychology in the call, using NLP as leverage in the call to be able to look for language patterns, how to address those language patterns. You guys have seen me talk about different ways to prepare for the call, different ways to help pre-qualify a lead that comes into the call, and then different ways to be able to set expectations to handle onboarding, to deliver an excellent experience. All of this is part of the sales assembly line. And you guys hear me talk about all the different elements. So to that assembly line, the components. So today we're going to talk about these 7 core elements that you need in a deliver the best flow in the call and best outcome. Okay? So number 1, let's get into this. So number 1 is going to be your, and I'm going to dive into detail too with these. So number 1 is your introduction. Okay? Now, bear with me here, as some of these you might feel like you already heard and understand. The thing is, the order in which we're going to talk about it is number 1. And number 2 is the detail behind each specific component. Isaiah, I just saw your question here in the Facebook group. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, I go live in my Facebook group as well. So this way, if you want your questions answered live, join my Facebook group. I will put a link in the comments below. So Isaiah, I'll come back to this at the end. We're going to get through the 7 core elements first. So intro, a lot of the time, like when somebody starts a call, you're going to realize, or what you might find yourself doing is saying, hey, what we're going to do is get the call started today. I'm going to just ask you a few questions, then we'll see what the next steps look like. That's a pretty normal question. When it comes to what you want to have in the perfect intro, you want to make sure that you set really clear expectations for the beginning and the end of the call. So I'm going to get into what that script or what words you can use in what order to make that the best layout possible. So beginning and end. You need to set expectations for both. Here's the reason why. People want to know what's going to happen next. It allows them to feel more comfortable with the situation. People also want to know what's going to happen at the end, so there's no surprises, okay? This is how you're going to be able to deliver the highest level of comfortability with you, so this way they immediately drop their guard, okay? It makes it easier to have that flow of conversation. There's a second piece of it, though. You want to make sure that whenever you're building that rapport and going through this process and delivering that you're also able to give them confidence they're going to find an answer one way or the other by the end of the call. So here's what that framework looks like in the terms of an intro. Hey, Mr. Customer, and this, by the way, if you guys don't know my framework, you're not in my Art of Sales mentorship, by the way, which I'll put a link down at the bottom if you want to book a call with my team and see how we can help you. But we talk about ways to position the beginning based on using a video sales letter that we help you craft. So this way people already get on the call and they know what you've had. So if you want to talk with my team, I'll put a link in the description below this YouTube video or above on the Facebook group. You can book a call with my team. So the next step after you've set up the right type of introduction based on the VSL, you're going to say, can I let you know what we're looking to do for you here on the call now that we know exactly what you're looking for? They're going to say yes. So you're going to lead in with, by the end of this call, or what we're going to do initially is just ask you a series of questions. If some of them sound redundant, just kind of bear with me. Clarity is possible, and that's why we're doing it. If it sounds like I'm taking notes, it's because I am. Right? I just want to make sure that we have all the information we need and nothing is lost in the midst of everything. And just so you know, by the end of the call, what will happen if this is a great fit, we'll talk about what next steps look like. If for whatever reason, like we can't help you, we know a lot of people in the industry that more than likely might be able to help you. So all we'll do is refer you over to somebody we believe would be best at work for you. They're going to say yes. So they are already prepared and know that they're going to receive some type of help by the end of the call. See how that works? Make sure this is refreshed here. Okay? Number 2 is going to be rapport. Now, again, a lot of these guys, you might say, oh, I already knew that one, or I already do that. Here's the thing. It's not a matter of do you do them. It's a matter of how are you doing them and in what order are you doing them. Okay? It's not enough that you're doing something. Okay? Just because you do something doesn't mean that it's good. All right? It's how you do it and in what order you do it. Okay? By the way, any questions you guys have, drop them in the comments, whether you watch on YouTube or Facebook. I'm going to come back to them and answer them. So, number 2, when it comes to building rapport, this specific piece is really important because you can overdo this and you can underdo this. All right? Now, there are 2 components that are going to make this super effective, way more effective either way. If you were to underdo it or overdo it, or even if you did it perfectly, these 2 things I'm about to tell you are going to help you out and give you more leverage, even if you overdo it or underdo it. Okay? So that's going to be tonality and cadence. Okay? So tonality and cadence are going to be important assets in a sales call because these are your nonverbal cues. So when it comes to actually being on a sales call, we're not going to get into like a bunch of neurolinguistics right now, neurolinguistic programming, but tonality and cadence are nonverbal, and the way we receive information is 70% nonverbal. So only 30% are the actual words we say, 70% are our body language and then our sound. All right? So tonality is the height in which you say something, right? High pitch. So tonality is the height of which you say something, and cadence is the length in which you say it, okay? So if I were to talk really high and talk really fast to get you super excited, right, because my voice is higher, and then also I'm talking really fast, so your heart rate starts to pick up a little bit. And then whenever I start to slow down, what ends up happening is your heart rate starts to go down. You start to feel this level of being able to feel a little bit more of a calming sensation. So you're going to, as a result, start to feel like you can gravitate into my words a little bit. So the tonality and cadence in which you say something, like this is huge, all right? So when you build rapport, you don't want to ask a ton of questions about the weather, how's your family, oh, you like sports too, oh, I like sports too, like all these different things. Stop worrying so much about that. Like you'll be able to build immediate rapport if they feel comfortable with you, which, by the way, tonality and cadence will drive that. It's just so beautiful out. You can probably hear that stuff. But anyway, so when you build a rapport, don't ask a ton of questions about that. Get straight to the point, but don't not ask anything. Say, hey, I'm super glad that you're able to jump on this. I know you're super busy, so I'm really excited to see how we can help you. Everybody, oh yeah, me too. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. So my tonality and cadence are going to aid my efforts to building rapport, even if I keep it short like that, because you're going to make them laugh throughout the call. You have to bunch it all up at the beginning. Okay, a lot of people do that, and it's not right. Okay? All right, next thing. By the way, if you guys are digging this, go ahead and let me know in the comments. That's why I do these videos, to make sure we can help as many people as possible. So like this video, help us spread the reach. So if you're digging this video, let me know below. Number 3 over here is going to be pain. Now, this is where people start to trip up. The rest of this call, in between the call, this is where people trip up, okay? So pain is number 3, all right? So a lot of people believe that pain is, well, how do you feel about not getting to that revenue marker? Like, how do you feel about not making 10K a month? How do you feel that you've been stuck at $50,000 a month for, 2 years? Now, the biggest mistake that a sales rep is asking all the right questions in the wrong direction. Okay? If you do not know what they're prioritizing, you're going to be focusing on the wrong pain. So let me give you an example. For me, like sex trafficking pains me, homelessness pains me, seeing like any type of like anything else, like world hunger pains me. It pains me to see these things. All right, especially because I was homeless at one point, like in high school, living in shelters, not knowing where my next bed or my next meal was going to come from. Like that shit pains me. Okay. But at the end of the day, none of my time, energy, or resources are going into any of those 3 things. All 3 of those things pain me. Okay? So if you were to try to sell me on something that costs, 5, 10, 20, 50, $100,000 to solve one of those three things, even though it pains me, I'm not going to buy it. Okay? I'm not prioritizing it right now. So the next step is you want to be able to find your degree of pain. All right? I'm going to use a different marker because it's such a big deal. So degree of pain. So the degree of pain is knowing, is this going to be their number one prioritized pain? The easiest way to be able to find this out is, okay, what else are you hoping to gain out of this call today? Well, I want to figure out how to get leads. Okay, cool. Leads, anything else? Yeah, I also want to figure out how to do this. Okay, cool. Anything else? Of X, Y, and Z that you gave me here, like which one of these things right now are you currently, I guess of that list, probably these things. And you're going to say, okay, cool. Now, of these things that you're currently prioritizing, which one of these are actually going to make the most immediate impact for you today? They're going to say, okay, well, of that narrowed down list, probably this and this thing. And now you have not only what they're prioritizing out of all their pains, but you know what's going to make the greatest impact immediately. So now you can actually, that specific point is, that is what they need the most help with right now. They've already told you. Okay? Number 4. Number 4 right here. Guys, people pay tens of thousands of dollars for this type of information. I'm just giving it to you right now. So heart the video, help us expand the reach, and then put down in the comments what you think so far. I'd love to hear your feedback. Number 4 is urgency. Okay? So people are trying to focus on a pain, and usually, by the way, that pain is wrong, right? They don't have the pain that's prioritized. And when they do get the pain that's prioritized, they're not doing a great job of seeing how soon that pain needs to be fixed. A lot of time, it's just asking the wrong questions, okay? Remember, we're only limited by the questions we ask. So here, with the urgency, some really good questions. Some really good questions to ask in the terms of the urgency is, all right, so we understand that, of the things that you feel like you'd like to work on in your business, which are all very valid, that these are the ones that you're prioritizing, and of those things, you feel like these ones would create the most impact. Am I hearing you right? I'm going to say, yeah. Okay, cool. So of those specific things that are going to create the most impact, like, I understand that that's a big deal. Like, trust me when I say this, you're not alone. That being said, is this like something like that's on your radar, or is this actually something that you're looking to fix like yesterday? And if they say, well, this is something I'm looking to fix yesterday, you're going to come back and have a follow-up question. You're going to say, all right, cool, love that. I had a feeling that obviously you're pretty serious about making this stuff work. So really, I guess my only question is, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, where do you really find yourself? Like, where do you feel like you sit? Now, make sure you ask that question the right way. Do you see how I'm sure that it comes off more relatable? Okay. So, oh man, contacts are killing me here. So, so you want to make sure it comes off more relatable. And if you do it that way, it's not going to feel so robotic, so quote unquote salesy. Okay. So when you ask it that way and they say, yeah, it's definitely something I want to fix now, and yeah, I'm a 10. That means you're ready to move on to the next step, which will go on to step 5 in a sec. Anything under a 10, your next follow-up question is going to be, how do we close the gap? Okay? That follow-up question, what's going to happen is that follow-up question is going to allow them to let you know what all is stopping them from wanting to pull the trigger on a solution to solve their most prioritized pain that will show them the most immediate impact. Okay? So that's what's going to happen next. Whenever they give you those reasons, now you have a direction to go. You have something to solve. You have really whatever is holding them up and slowing them down from moving forward. So now you can close that loop. So that's the next thing. So that's going to be urgency and then degree of urgency. Okay? Now we're going to be looking at step 5. All right? Step 5 going to be your diagnosis. Now, when it comes to step 5 and your diagnosis, what you're going to want to make sure you do is recap. Okay, you want to make sure that you are recapping everything you said here, and you just always want to make sure you're taking notes in order to do that effectively. All right, so as you're going through and you're recapping everything that you heard throughout the call, So Mr. Customer, I mean, based on what we already talked about here today, from what I understand, like the thing that you're trying to fix the most right now is this. Like, you know, what you come to learn that hasn't worked for you, that you want to stay away from is this, makes sense, and what you believe, or X, whatever. So am I hearing you right? Did I miss anything? Like, and you told me obviously this is something you want to fix now. You said you're a 10, so like, am I missing anything here? No, that's it. Okay, cool. So what would you like to do from here? Do you want me to let you know about how we can, I mean, do you want me to lend any advice on anything like that? Or what would you like to do? Typically they're going to say, yeah, I'd love to hear some advice. Okay, cool. Well, based on you telling me with this, here's how we can help. Based on you telling me with Y, here's how we can help. Based on what you told me with Z, here's what I would suggest. What would you like to do from here? They're going to say, well, I'd love to, I mean, do you have anything that could help me out? I mean, how do we get started? What are next steps? Do you guys have a program that can help with this stuff? Or what does it look like to work with you? Those are one of the things they're going to say, okay? So after they do, that's when you dive into your next step, which is going to be number 6. And this is offer. Now, here's the thing. If they are not a 10, okay, and this is, we don't even get to here. Like I never make an offer, okay? We make an offer on about 42% of the connected calls we're on. So if you haven't seen a video of me already describing this on my channel, basically if you receive 100 calls in a month, 100 calls scheduled on your calendar, you can expect about roughly a 35% no-show rate, okay? So of those 100 calls that were scheduled, you can expect roughly 65 to show up. Of those 65, we only make offers on 42%. That's us personally, okay? So of those 65 offers, we're only making offers on 42%, which is going to be right around, what is that, like 20? Like 30 offers or so. So of those 30 offers, we're coming in and closing at around 50%. So it's about 15 deals. So for us, we're able to close 15 deals on 100 calls, okay? So that's how those numbers break down. That's why it's important, and that's why this is really important. So your offer is totally up to you. Do not think because somebody comes on a call they have all the control, because it's not true, right? Just as much as they can decide if they want to say yes, you can decide if you want to say no. See how that works? Like, you are the deans of the college. You have just as much decision-making power on if this thing moves forward as they do, if not more, okay? So you need to switch your frame of mind when you get into the sales call to that, all right? Number 7, obviously, favorite step. I'm going to switch to the other color for this. I love this step. Collect. Okay? So as you're going in for this, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to collect the card on the phone, because you should. If they're ready to go, all the decision makers are there, you should collect on the phone. If you're not going to collect on the phone, you need a very specific date and time in which you're meeting back up. And make sure you're positioning that as, hey, whenever we get together, I'd like you to just do me a huge favor just now and then. I want to make sure that we can address all of those before we decide to do anything. So this way it incentivizes them to get on the call and they don't feel like they're just showing up to get sold, okay? Even though that's why they're there. So you want to make sure that you are collecting on the call or you are properly setting a follow-up in that way, all right? So this is how you're going to increase your follow-up shows, okay? Because a lot of time you might realize that you're scheduling follow-ups and they're ghosting you. Like, they don't just no-show, like they ghost you, okay? And they never talk to you again. They might even block you. So this is the 7 steps or 7 elements, 7 core elements to the perfect sales call, and a lot of different ways in which you need to position each specific section of that, okay? So again, if you guys have any comments, you're watching this live on Facebook, put them below, come back and answer them, or answer them now. If you're watching this on YouTube, then just drop your comments below, both on what you'd like to see next and or on this video, and I'll come back and answer them. And here's the thing, guys, if you thought this was helpful, if you're watching live on Facebook, there's a link above. You can book a call with my team, and we'll just do an agency audit for you to look at your sales process and audit that to see if there's any advice that we can give or if there's any way we can help. And if you're watching on YouTube, just go down below. I'll put a link. You can do the same thing. Jump on a call with my team, and we'll see if, like, what advice we can help you with, and, you know, really if there's anything that we can help you with outside of the free advice. So anyway, hope this was really helpful, guys. I'm telling you, if you master these 7 steps in this way, your calls are going to be very smooth, and you're going to realize you have all the ammunition you need by the end of the call to get somebody to want to ask to buy from you, and they'll typically say yes to your offer because you have heard them out. Listen yourself into the sale. All right? Hope this was helpful, and catch you guys on the next video.